Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. Today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2018, or no, 2019. 2018 was last year. And yeah, we got stuff to talk about. I forgot to cue up my intro. Wait, I can do this. I can save it.
That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
There we go. Aren't I special? So we got some stuff to discuss. I don't know how many people are going to show up live, and I left my books on the floor. I'm just a consummate professional today. As always, you come to the Super 2 YouTube channel for all of his expertise in comic reviewing and proper professional YouTubing. That's why you got a 5-minute warning about me streaming and why I was also 2-3 minutes late. It's been a week. So in the title, you'll see it say plus Tom King rumor discussion. I will be getting into that because there was some news, and I normally don't talk about the news in comic reviews or anything like that, but this is kind of a big one. And I don't know. This is live the day the rumor dropped. I'm going to talk about some thoughts I have on it and maybe try to do, some actual journalism. So we shall see. But I'm going to get into that later when I have more people here live. Anyway, this week I'll be discussing Batman Beyond, number 32, Doctor Strange, number 14, The Flash, number 71, Justice League Dark, number 11, Action Comics, number 1011, Wonder Woman, number 71. So yeah, plenty of books to get into tonight. I think I'm gonna... Should I post something in the chat? I think I'll just pass it on for now. I promise I am gonna talk about the Tom King stuff, but I don't want it to be the meat of the show. I don't want to have to keep coming back to it. So I'm just gonna go through, do my show as normal, and probably touch on that at the end. So no clickbait. If you want to know, I'll leave a timestamp in the description for that. Alrighty. So, start with Batman Beyond, number 32. Again, this is not a great, amazing, jaw-dropping story, but it is fun, and it does just feel a lot like this could be an episode of Batman Beyond. I hope it doesn't go on too much longer. I really think one more issue is really all you need. Knowing Dan Jurgens, it might be two, to finish telling this story. But I like the story. I like the premise. So when last we left Terry McGinnis, he was being crushed to death, and Bruce Wayne is obviously possessed by someone who we have no idea, and has no suggestions for how to help Terry. Luckily, Matt is able to think on his feet and save Terry, kind of proving that Terry does, in fact, need a Robin. So Terry's saved, and Bruce says, all right, well, it's been a long day. I'm going to bed. And they're all like, what is up with this guy? Meanwhile, our villain named Split, which is actually, I do want to talk about this because I'm pretty sure this isn't the first, original Batman Beyond villain that Dan Jurgens has created, but I feel like this is the first time it's a fully original concept, and it actually fits with Batman Beyond. A couple of them, I know he took characters that he gave Batman Beyond a Scarecrow. It's not directly connected to Professor Crane, but is a version of the Scarecrow. He gave he created a new version of a legacy version of one of Terry's original villain. So he's done a little bit here and there, but this is the first time that Dan Jurgens has created, as far as I'm aware at least, an original character for the book that fits with kind of what Batman Beyond's villains were all about in the series, which was, we don't just want to do the Joker again. We don't just want to do Two-Face again. These are new characters now. And so we have Split, who is two people kind of sharing one body. And they have super speed powers, and they can split into two people for brief periods of time, but it drains them physically. So I like that. That's a cool, weird sci-fi idea. It fits with a lot of what Batman Beyond's villains were like. Jurgens also seems to be maybe more of a bit of a Molly shipper with Terry. He seems to be bringing her more into the fold as opposed to Dana. So that's kind of interesting. And yeah, so Terry's pretty sure he's got these guys figured out, that they're teleporters, and now he knows how to deal with them. It gets some okay art. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's not bad. It's that middle ground I was talking about with Batman Beyond art, where it's like not quite as minimalist as the show needed it to be, but it's not like hideous amounts of detail for a comic book version of it. So that's fine. Bruce Wayne's going to a casino, because obviously it's not really Bruce Wayne. And Terry thinks that Split are teleporters, but indeed they are speedsters. And so they're able to just kick the living shit out of Terry, and the only reason he's still alive is his armor. Again, this is like, is that really a Terry story? Are we maybe doing Terry a disservice to bring him in like this, and kind of, this again, it feels maybe like it's a little more of a Bruce Wayne book, and Dan Jurgens kind of just wishes he was on Batman. God, I hope not. That would be awful. But I don't know. It's fine. It works for what it is. And so Terry's knocked out again, and Matt and Molly don't know what to do. Meanwhile, False Face is the person that looks like they've switched bodies with Bruce Wayne. So that's all cool. Otherwise, I don't have much else to say about this. It's fun. I'm just enjoying myself with this book, even though I think it's got a lot of problems. It's not a very strong book, but it's a fun book. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and go on to Doctor Strange, number 14. This continues the Herald Supreme story arc by Mark Waid. Who's the artist on this? Barry Kitson. Doctor Strange is looking for a planet in the magical realms that Galactus can consume. He's pointed in a direction by a stranger and thinks everything about it will work, so he gets Galactus, and they journey to the planet but are attacked along the way. This weakens Galactus. And then Dormammu reveals himself in the shadows, saying that he's planned for every eventuality and knows how to take an unexpected thing and turn it to his advantage. And he says that right as they arrive to the planet, so guess what? The planet that Steven has led Galactus to is in fact a trap, but Galactus is too hungry and must feed now, so he feeds upon the planet, but it changes him and morphs him into a being of both magic and science, making Dormammu his new herald. And that's a pretty cool twist on the Galactus design to make him look more magical and like dark and evil. That's kind of it's a neat combination of Kirby and name Spider-Man Ditko. Damn, that took way too long. That's a neat idea for combining Kirby and Ditko. I can kind of see the inspiration there. Dormammu is now turned Galactus into a pawn, and He's teamed up with Mephisto and yada yada yada. It's all kinds of craziness, but because Galactus is there, it feels different. It's all part of his big master plan. I gotta say, I hate Dormammu in the comics. His design is terrible. I don't like that at all. Yeah. The cover for the next issue looks cool as shit. I don't know, it's cool, it's fun. That's kind of just my week. It's cool, it's fun. It's cool, it's fun. Yeah, it's cool, it's fun. It's cool, it's fun. It's okay. It's cool, it's fun. Yeah, that's going to be your preview for the rest of my points tonight. Alrighty, let's go ahead and go on and talk about The Flash, number 71. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I can't not do it with this book. I don't know what it is. I'll read this book for a couple issues, about an arc or so, and then I'll drop it because it gets boring in the next arc. And then I'll pick it up and I'll read it for a couple issues, about an arc or so, and then it gets boring and I drop it and pick it up. Why? Why must I keep doing this? I keep getting sucked in, and I can't lie. I'm actually really enjoying this story arc. This is a fun idea for kind of a Flash twist on the year one formula. I've gotten really tired of particularly Barry Allen Flash over the last couple of years, because all we seem to be doing since I got into monthly comics is redoing Barry's origin over and over again. Everything that's doing it is just retouching Barry's origin, and I'm just like, what? Why? And I think here's my hot take alert. Alright, so here's my hot take. The only reason we keep retouching on Barry's origin is because it is somehow less convoluted than Wally's origin, even though we've done it about 1 billion times and made time travel an integral part of it. If not for the fact that you have to bake in the Kid Flash stuff into Wally's origin to really make him work on the same level that a bunch of other characters do, we just keep Wally. But the problem is, Barry's origin is so much more direct, so you have to have... It's just easier to do, even though we keep redoing it. It's easy, it's cheap. It's cheap. That's the problem. Wally's origin, you have to bake in the Kid Flash stuff. And I know everyone's going to tell me, oh, well, Justice League didn't. Yeah, but still, though, like, they in fact just gave him Barry's original origin, which is kind of a weird choice, and so it's not, in a lot of ways it is Wally. It's taking all the good parts of Wally, but it's changing the origin. But one of the best things about Wally in comics is, of course, that he is a legacy character. And you really do need that. You can't lose that part for Wally in the comics, at least. And again, maybe that's just me. I don't know. So yeah, we keep doing Barry's origin, and I'm sick to death of it. I'm liking it. I can't help it. I do like it here. It's getting me. I feel like such a sucker. It's doing it for me. Just immediately, the fact that it is paced so much better than I think I've ever seen it before, I think that really helps. By the end of the first issue, we introduced this weird alternate future stuff with the Turtle as the villain, and that's like, what? And we really pick up right from there with Barry, I almost called him Wally, with Barry just in the future talking to his older self. And I can't help but dig it. And it's got a cool sense because, like, one of Barry's problems so far has been not being able to stop when he's running really fast. And when he's running with his future self is able to stop. And he's like, how? And he goes, oh, I slide into it. And then we get this adventure with the two of them where future Barry takes him and rebuilds the cosmic treadmill, yada, 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 and sends him back in time. And then Barry, in the past, is able to stop by sliding into it. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a nice touch. That's well done. And again, so like when the last issue ends with future Barry Allen, you kind of want to groan a little bit and like, okay, so it's going to be a Flash Year 1 story, but it's going to be about the whole thing's going to be about teaming up with his older self. And that's the majority of the second issue, not lie, but there's still a fair bit of meat left here. There's like 3-4 pages. That is not an insignificant portion of the book left. Admittedly, a bunch of those are these Leviathan ads. They were cool for like 2 seconds. Now they're just annoying and they're taking up too much of my goddamn comic books, but whatever. That's a pretty good chunk of story left. I'm very impressed with Joshua Williamson's pacing, which is a very specific compliment, but I'll take it. Or I'm sure he'll take it, rather. Then we got some great art by Howard Porter in here. Things are just looking fantastic. The future stuff is kind of cool. The Turtle would not be my go-to pick to write as a Flash villain. He's one of those guys who kind of has a different origin every other week anytime we do him, but I don't know, this is kind of neat. He's got like this evil overlord style thing, dystopian, and he's taking over and sealed off Central City so no other superheroes can get to it under the gel. That's cool. That's fun. That works the dynamic. The Turtle will be like the Penguin of the Batman, of the Flash universe then. I don't know, it's kind of working for me. I kind of can't help but dig it. Old Barry Allen's a freaking punk-ass old man, and it's awesome. He's a punk rock old man, and I love it. It's kind of fun. I cannot help but be enjoying myself for this. And so yeah, we're a good 2/3 through the issue. Barry gets sent back to his own time, and yeah, just gets the opportunity and kind of steps into the role of hero. And I like it. It's a good fit. It's something about it's working, and it's making the origin feel fresh and deserved, which is nice. So yeah, despite every bone in my body crying out that this is pointless and stupid and not a good idea, I'm enjoying it. I'm big enough to admit when I'm wrong. Joshua Williamson clearly has a story he wants to tell. Howard Porter is doing some great art on this. He is... Howard Porter might be in my top 10 comic artists. He's just done so much for so long. He just knows what he's doing. He's a vet, you know? Like, god damn. I've seen a million dystopian landscapes, but just look at all the detail in this. Like, look at this cityscape back here. That's pretty good. I'm digging it. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and go on and talk about Justice League Dark, number 11. Against the power of Mordru. Okay. This is almost too much, but in a really good way. So you know how when we want to establish how much of a badass this character is, we just have him like bulldoze over our powerhouse characters? You know, it's like in Star Trek, Worf is the security agent, but really all he does is get beat up to show that other characters are super powerful. So that's a pretty basic and easy trick in writing that can get kind of exhausting, because, to continue with the Star Trek example, well, Worf was just a punk. He just got his ass handed to him left and right because he got his ass handed to him left and right so often. He, like, if anything, he should have been demoted for not being a very effective head of security. I don't want to rant about Star Trek. I'm sorry. But like that's a pretty basic trick what matters is how often you do it and how well you use it. And I gotta say, Tynion really hasn't abused that too much to me. Like, I keep talking about the thing that Tynion is doing really, really well here, for me at least, is showing the escalation of threat, showing the escalation of problems that require the Justice League. Whenever you're... I think the key to telling a good Justice League story is... Or really any good team story in superhero comics is, why can't X character just do it themselves? We have countless Batman stories where he fights off the supernatural and aliens and stuff all on his own, and he doesn't need any help. So why does this alien invasion, Batman needs the help of Superman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern? So Justice League Dark just consistently, I can't believe it's only been 11 issues, consistently has handled the scale of threat really, really well without abusing that and making our characters look pointless. And this is probably the point at which I'd say it goes the most to that line, but hazarding a bet here that Mordru is going to end up being the next villain after everything with Dr. Fate and the other kind is settled. So, all of this is to say that Wonder Woman and Zatanna are walking around the Hall of Justice, and Zatanna says, "Since when did you guys serve beer?" And Wonder Woman says, "What? No, we don't do that." And then they just find a bar. And they walk into it, and there's Mordru. He just put a secret base inside the Hall of Justice and used magic so that no one in the Justice League could see it. And I'm like, whoa. I said, God damn, that is a really, really effective use of that trick in writing. Because it doesn't make our characters look like idiots. It doesn't make our characters look ineffective. It just does a really good job of showing you, like, well, damn, this character's on a whole other level. And then Zatanna and Wonder Woman are like, you're going to answer our questions, and he's like, no. I'm not. And he just, like, transports them tied down to chairs in the room. And it's like, whoa. So he can just do that to Wonder Woman and Zatanna, even though he's this, they're such powerhouse characters. And then Mordru goes on to explain his connection to Fate and the Lords of Order, the other kind, and Hecate? I can never say her name. The Greek goddess of magic and witchcraft. All through connection to this special little ruby called the Ruby of Life that Zatanna got from her father. And then he goes on to explain what the difference is between order magic is and chaos. Order magic always comes at a price, and it ends up taking from you. Whereas chaos magic, chaos is different. There are no spells, there are no sigils. You do not ask the universe. You take what you want. And when the universe recoils in horror, you direct that energy right back at it. You hit it again. And, like, this is probably the point at which it's getting the most, like, I can imagine people have a real problem with it. But again, I'm not seeing this as just a scene of gloating. I'm seeing this as, okay, here's our next villain. And that is when Mordru smacks Wonder Woman. Multiple times. And that is a thing that I can definitely imagine people get very, very up in arms about. I think that's, they walked into his house. Of course he has an advantage. He allowed them to walk in there. He wouldn't do that unless he knew he could control the situation. I think this is an interesting idea to set him up to be the next villain, is what I'm kind of driving at. He also takes away Zatanna's mouth and nose, so she can neither speak nor perform any spells, nor, breathe. And that is one thing I'm really liking about this series, is we're just getting some fucking scary-ass imagery. So I really, really appreciate that. Philip Kelton's Mordru. I'm really certain that Tynion's setting him up to be the next villain, or after this Dr. Fate and Lords of Order and other kind stuff. Anyway, so he does end up helping them, though. And they claim it's because, he needs to survive the other kind too, so he'll help us. And he's like, no. I do this because it serves me, because I want to, because I think it'll be fun. And so he puts energy into the Ruby of Life. Is that what they called it? I already forgot. MacGuffin, the MacGuffin Ruby. The Ruby of Life. Yes, go Ian. He puts all this chaos energy into the Ruby of Life. There's your help. Enough power to get the job done. Enough power to rip the universe in half. And with that, I'll take my leave. Don't come looking for me again, or I'll eat you both alive. Yeah, they gonna come looking for him again. That's happening. So anyway, Wonder Woman's like, all right, well, he gave us this. We've been using what he called orderly magic before. Let's do it. And they pick up the ruby, and then we get Wonder Woman's Zatanna in chaos magic form. And I'm like, this is fucking cool. I'm into it. That's such a unique and imagery for them. Like, I love the red in Zatanna's coat, and like, what is going on with her eye? And then Wonder Woman's bald, and like, her skin's all pale. That's so weird. Maybe it's time we broke some fucking rules. I'm like, shit. It's cool. It's scary. We're really, we are really pushing our heroes, and that's the part I'm really, really enjoying. So yeah, cool stuff. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and go on and talk about Action Comics number 1011. So if you're here for my preview, this is fun, this is cool, this is fun, this is cool. Earlier, this is the one where I'm like, that was alright. And I gotta say, when I was reviewing the Superman book the last couple weeks, I was like, I'm not feeling this, but I'm still really liking the Action Comics book. Right now, Action's is going down a little bit too. I didn't really care for the last issue that much. It wasn't bad. I just didn't particularly get into it. And this issue's better, but I'm still kind of on it. It's really not like, it's not awful or anything. I'm just like, alright, this happened. I will say, for one of the big complaints people have made about Rebirth is not enough is happening issue to issue, and I do think a lot happens in this book. I don't even really want to give a plot summation because I feel like so much goes down in here. But I'm just not that into it. There's like I just feel like information was kind of dumped on me here. And so I'm not digging this issue as much. That being said, I'm not thinking about leaving this book like I am with leaving Superman. Superman and I got such a rocky history of me buying his damn books. I swear I like you. I've got a Frank Miller relationship with Superman where I keep promising that I love the character, but I never like anything with him, and I just do awful things to him. I don't know. Just there's stuff I definitely like in this issue. There's things that are done well. Part of it's the problem of, like, Bendis is setting up this whole big mystery, whodunit situation. And I'm just left here kind of like, yeah, it's alright. It's fine. I don't know what's going on necessarily right now, so I'm kind of curious, maybe a little annoyed. I don't know. It does feel very event setup-y, I guess, but I'm here for it. I'll get through it if nothing else. I don't feel like I'm gonna drop this book in particular right this second. But I gotta say, some of the charm that Bendis had established with me early on is kind of wearing off as the runs. It's almost a year that he's been on both books. It is wearing off a little bit for me. And so now I'm just getting more critical on, now we've got some investment in the stories he's telling, and so now I'm seeing it not so much for the potential and, like, the finer details of what he's doing, but the longer game, and I'm not burnt out on it, but it's not working as well for me, I think. Alrighty. So that does it for Action Comics. Let's go ahead and talk about Wonder Woman number 71. Love's a Battlefield Part 3, I believe. Or is it Part 2? Part 3, okay. So the whole town got really mad at Atlantilla? Atlantitis. For promising them everything they could ever want, promise them they can pursue their heart's desire, but not telling them there would be consequences. So they're very mad at the god for this, gender-neutral pronouns. And so the god is using their full power. Elsewhere, Maggie, who is this mortal gifted with this magic sword, is entering a mysterious and dark tunnel because the sword's telling her to. And that's pretty much the story. Like, Wonder Woman kind of solves the problem with Atlantitis. Maggie is kind of stuck alone against a Colossus, and Wonder Woman then has to come and save her ass, which she does. So we're looking at the beginning of a fight here, and that's going to go into next issue. It looks like the realm Maggie has stumbled onto is what has led the Olympians to Earth, and that's kind of been the driving force behind Wilson's arc so far. So, yeah, cool. I'm kind of digging it. I don't have a ton to say about it. It's fun. It's cool, right? It's continuing a story that I'm enjoying so far. That's kind of all I got on it. Love's Battlefield, Giants War, The Just War. All three arcs that she's done so far I've been pretty on board with and enjoying quite a bit. And this arc continues to just, yeah, it's working. It's a very Wonder Woman kind of thing, and I'm kind of digging it for that. All right. So here we are. We're at the end of my single issues. I don't have a trade this week. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, Tom King and the future of the Batman book. Before I get into any of it, let's first address the fact that comics journalism is a shit show. An absolute fucking nightmare. So, The rumor, and I want to emphasize the fuck out of the word rumor, is that Tom King is leaving Batman, or being kicked off Batman. That the sales for the book have been too low for DC, and even though it's getting all this critical acclaim, a lot of the people who apparently buy comics every week don't like Tom King, so they're dropping the book, and so in order to try to get them back, DC is shit-canning Tom King from the book. But they're somehow going to keep him on his DC exclusive contract. Okay. I have no idea to what level that is at all factual. And I kind of immediately suspect that it's mostly not true. What my suspicion is that Tom King is going on to something else at DC. And so he is prematurely leaving his Batman run. I don't know if that's the case. And this is all 100% speculation on my part, given that I am really fucking just done with comics journalism. Ryan Higgins confirmed it. Who's Ryan Higgins and what did he confirm? Ryan Higgins' Twitter. Pop it over here. I'm sorry, I'm just reading Ryan Higgins' Twitter thread real quick. Anyway, I'll go on to bigger and better things. Okay. So, that does not mean that Tom King is not leaving the Batman book. And so, here are my suspicions. And I'm going to turn on screen sharing, and you get infinite Ian's. Congratulations. Alright, let me put this guy over here. There, now I can see what you're seeing. Alright. So, here's what we call some actual journalism. By looking at what... Tom King hasn't come out against it, and no one's come out to really say, no, it's not true, he's not leaving the book. But Tom King's friend has said some pretty leading shit on Twitter. So let's go check Mitch Gerard's Twitter account. I know things about a thing, and it all means even better things. Smiling Batman. Mitch Gerard's jumping to conclusions. And then finally, Mitch Gerard's new project inspiration. Who thinks that all three of these things are probably related, and they're all probably related to the Tom King news? Oh, hey, I got one. So yeah, the thing is that Tom King is a very popular writer for DC right now, even though there's a lot of assholes on the internet who don't get it, don't like it, whatever. I don't fucking care. The fact of the matter is, he's probably going to do something else for DC with Mitch Gerard's, especially considering that they were both in recent weeks discussing the next project to follow Mr. Miracle. They're both discussing doing something that was going to follow up Mr. Miracle and be like their next big big magnum opus. So there's my theory. Do I have anything to back it up besides a few tweets from Mitch Gerards and stuff Tom King and Mitch have said over the last couple weeks? No, not a fucking word. Because here's the thing. I'm not a journalist, and I don't pretend to be by just making shit up. That's the big problem. Let's see here. Geeks for Fun put the Ryan Higgins tweets. Tom King's Batman run is ending towards the end of the year, short of his long talked about 100-issue run. He has more projects coming up from DC, which will be announced in the coming months for anyone in the chat who wanted to read it. Yeah, that's pretty much what I figured. It's likely that he's going to go off and do something else. That all being said, yeah, I'm disappointed. I am disappointed by the idea of Tom King leaving the Bat book before his quote-unquote 100 issues. That being said, it's not like if he's leaving at whatever is supposed to be issue 85, that's not necessarily the be-all, end-all. Like, Tom King has never had the run finished at any point. He always has talked about being kind of behind on deadlines and working to try to meet them as quick as possible. And so there's a chance, I don't know how big of one, but there's a chance that he's still writing the run and he's going to condense it. So his story's finished by issue 85 as opposed to by issue 105. Who knows? Again, it's such a weird discussion. The thing with Tom King for me is I think he is just an absolutely amazingly talented writer. But where he goes after Batman leaves me in an interesting spot, because Mr. Miracle was an amazing comic. It was absolutely heartbreaking and just very, very soul-searching comic. But as much as that book did affect me, and it truly did, I'm not super huge into Mr. Miracle. So there's all this emotion built up for me in the Mr. Miracle book. But I feel like even though that might be... Well, it's definitely more concise. It's definitely more of a punch. There's less of an attachment for me personally built into the Mr. Miracle character than there is for me built into Batman. So while Tom King's run on Batman might be more drawn out and might not be as emotionally complex or as quote-unquote important to the canon of comic books or whatever the fuck ever, it still hits me a lot in a much deeper place than something like Mr. Miracle because of my previously established relationship to Batman. And so that's, I think, where the biggest disappointment is. I don't think Tom King's on the outs with DC. What I think is he's going to go do something else. Maybe if this Mitch Gerard's tweet is to be believed, it's going to be it's going to be Justice League. Who knows? I don't speculate wildly because I'm not a fucking journalist. Yeah. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Disappointed, but I respect the artistic drive, and I doubt this is King's go-to And it may very well be that DC does have lower sales in this book, and they think bringing on someone who's more likely to impress the people who are mad at Tom King's run, maybe this will work better for them. It's just disappointing. Hate to leave comic reviews on such a fucking downer. That's it for comic reviews. See you next time. Bye.